All right, let's dive into a story that kicks off right at the end of the world. I mean, the literal apocalypse. But for our guy Rimuru Tempest, the end, well, it turned out to be just the beginning of a whole new, absolutely wild journey. Yeah, there's no slow burn here, folks. We are jumping straight into the deep end, the absolute finale. Humanity? Already lost. The planet? It's basically a giant smoking crater. So imagine you're the last person standing, and the big bad looks down at you and says, "This will be your last attempt." Talk about chilling, right? This is the situation Rimuru finds himself in. It's completely dire, the threat is just off the charts. All hope, pretty much gone.
So, you're probably wondering, how did things get this bad? Well, it was a 25-year-long nightmare. It all started with something called the World Break, which unleashed monsters in these crazy dungeons all over the place. Humanity was locked in this desperate fight for survival. But here's the kicker. In the final hour, when it mattered most, the most powerful people, the ones who could have made a difference, they just left. They hopped on spaceships and abandoned billions to die. Unbelievable.
And so, in the middle of all that ruin, who do we find? Rimuru. Just one guy, left behind, making a final, desperate stand against an enemy that is, for all intents and purposes, completely impossible to beat.
I mean, just look at this matchup. It's insane. On one side, you've got Rimuru, who's wounded, exhausted, basically running on fumes and sheer willpower. And on the other, a mythical rank monster, over 100 meters tall, packing divine power, a being that's never been beaten. The odds aren't just bad. Well, they don't exist. It's a suicide mission.
So, he's pushed beyond every conceivable limit. His body is failing, his mind is shutting down, and with his last breath, he utters a single command: scatter. And then, something impossible happens. Driven by nothing but pure will, he unleashes this inexplicable power. A power that this godlike monster just could not see coming.
So what was that? It wasn't just a lucky shot. In that final, desperate moment, Rimuru awakened this hidden, super rare trait called tenacity. And it's not just any trait, it's an X-rank trait. Think of X-rank as the absolute pinnacle of potential. It's the power to literally break your own limits and do the impossible. And that's exactly what he did.
So after winning a fight that he absolutely should have lost, Rimuru collapses. He did it. He saved what was left of the world, but it cost him everything. At least, that's what it looked like.
As everything fades to black, there's just one question hanging in the air, right? He won, but now what? What was even left to save? Was this it? Is this what victory looks like? Just the end? But hold on, turns out someone else was watching the whole show. A really mysterious, really powerful figure saw him awaken that X-rank trait, and she was intrigued. To her, this wasn't just some hero. He was, and I quote, an entertaining toy. Way too valuable to just let him die there. His story was definitely not over. All of a sudden, this robotic voice just chimes in and lays out a whole new set of rules for him. It's wild. Step 1, he's getting shipped off to another world. Step 2, and this is the big catch, his memories are getting sealed away. The only way to get them back? He has to clear floors in some kind of grim world tutorial. His new life is literally a video game. So, here he is. New body, new world, no memories. And his very first challenge isn't some big, scary monster. Nope. It's a choice, a single decision that's going to shape everything that comes next. Okay, so the system gives him 6 options for a specialized class. The first few are pretty standard fantasy stuff, you know? Shadowbane sounds like an assassin. Iron Fang, probably a warrior. Stubborn, maybe some kind of brawler. Cinderborn, definitely a fire mage. But Ramiro's eyes, they're immediately drawn past all that to the last 2 options on the list.
Yeah, he pretty much ignores the obvious choices. I mean, his last life taught him a valuable lesson. The real power, the real potential, is often hidden in the things you don't understand. So he zones in on the 2 most mysterious, most cryptic options he's got. So it all comes down to this. On one hand, you have Ashen Void. It sounds incredibly powerful, right? All about space-time nullification. Basically pure, raw, aggressive power. An easy choice if you just want to destroy things. But then there's Rift Veil. It's way more mysterious. It hints at things like separation, veils, boundaries. It's not as straightforward, but man, it feels like it's filled with all these unique, untapped possibilities.
And that's the thought that seals the deal. He decides against the obvious path of just pure destruction.
Instead, he takes a gamble. He bets on mystery. He picks the class that doesn't just promise strength, but promises something unique, something unpredictable.
So he makes his choice, and the system starts calculating his potential. The interesting thing here is that the rank isn't just based on the class name, it's based on his thoughts and feelings while he was choosing. So the anticipation is just, you can feel it, right?
And the result is SS rank. That is an incredibly high potential. His gamble on the mysterious option, it paid off big time. That was a seriously good choice. Of course, with a high-rank class comes a pretty unique first quest. And this one isn't about going out and fighting something. No, this one is about creation. And the quest is absolutely fascinating. He doesn't just get a list of skills to unlock. He has to actually invent them himself. The system tells him to think about the meaning of his class, rift and veil, and just imagine a new skill into existence. The only limit is literally his own imagination.
So think about that. A guy who mastered the power of pure willpower in his first life now has a power based entirely on his imagination, which leaves us with one heck of a question, right? With the power to literally invent his own skills from scratch, what will he create first?